Howdy folks, and I hope the force is strong with you wherever you are in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's the turn of yet another version of Darth Vader courtesy of Hot Toys. Yes, this time it's the Force Unleashed Kenobi Mythos version or something. Let's get this out of the way early doors. Regulars to the channel will know I have pretty much successfully avoided the Star Wars 1/6 scale rabbit hole, bar a few figures from my favourite Star Wars movie of all time, The Empire Strikes Back, as owning 72 different versions of a Stormtrooper doesn't appeal to me. And although I played The Force Unleashed to death back in the day, it's still one of the best Star Wars games ever made in my opinion. Very rarely a 1/6 scale figure comes along for Mr. Go figure where it's not about whether I love the source material and it's all about how impressive the figure is. And I think we might just have that right here. So, usual format folks, we will take a look at this ridiculously oversized box. Then it'll be down onto the table to have a look at all the accessories. Then it will be out with the figure itself, and we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we dive in, I'd like to send a massive shout out to everyone who supported the channel. A huge thank you, you've all been amazing, and please drop a like on this review as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the 1/6 scale reviews, previews, news, showcases, tours, and all that other stuff that we've got coming up on the channel. And you'll also be making an old collector very happy, so it's a win-win situation. So you probably guessed, this box is absolutely huge. I am literally having to sit so far back from this I can barely reach it. It comes in at a gargantuan, I think it's about 22 inches tall by about 16 inches wide. I've had quarter scale figures delivered in smaller boxes than this. So, but we'll attempt to have a quick look around it and I'll manhandle my way around it. It's that traditional Hot Toys design for Star Wars figures with that sort of black box with a V shape in the middle. You've got a picture of the figure in the center there. You've got this wraparound band at the bottom there, which is really nicely done. It says Star Wars Darth Vader, picture of the figure again there. Special edition, top right hand corner there, as this is the special edition deluxe version. Around the side, if I can reach this without knocking the camera over, that band has another picture of the unhelmeted Darth Vader on the left hand side. Nothing on the right hand side, I believe. No, nothing there. Top and bottom of this behemoth are just plain. There's nothing on it, so you have to take my word for that. And around the back, you've got all the usual credits and warnings. Don't piss this figure off or it might do unspeakable things to you before your trip to the Emperor. So it's a slipcover design, literally just come through the door, this figure, brand new to the channel, never seen it before, completely unopened, so let's get this slipcover off and have a look underneath. Slipcover off, and underneath you are greeted with this amazing box. And on the front there you've got these sort of red scale, super stylized shots of the figure itself. It's Star Wars in that silver foil lettering there, says Darth Vader at the bottom, DX, Hot Toys, all the usual stuff. I have to reach in again here to try and flip this thing round. There's a continuation of that front image on the side there, and you also get your first look at that cape and Darth Vader's image in that cape there. It says Disney at the bottom, DX45, probably off camera that shot because this thing is so big. Flip it around to the other side and what you've got is Star Wars Darth Vader again, and just a repetition on the back there of all the credits and warnings and all those involved in the production of this figure. It is one of those sort of bookcase designs where this whole section slides out, so let's take a look underneath. And it's fair to say you feel like you've been in a fight when you've unboxed this figure. It is huge. Puts me in mind of DX figures of the past. I'm loving this packaging. Once you get the box out itself, what you've got is the usual card foam backed inlay on top of the figure. Really liking this. Once again, in red scale, You've got a shot of the battle-damaged head sculpt there. You've got another shot of the figure itself, completely minus head sculpt, some stormtroopers in the background, Death Star, so on, and a description down here that if you are wanting to read, please hit pause. Around the sides, once again, after reaching, it's all plain on this one, so there's nothing to look at the sides and the back other than the Darth Vader logo there, Star Wars. Nothing on the back there. Removing this this card inlay, you are greeted with the figure itself, and in true DX fashion, you've got this inlay card over the top there. So removing that, and I'm going to have to be super careful here because I don't want the figure to fall out. You are greeted with the figure, all the accessories, the base, and I am assuming that wonderful sculpted plastic cape is underneath that. So without further ado, let's drag everything out. Let's get all the accessories out, dive down onto the table and have a look at everything that comes with your Darth Vader figure. Okay folks, so accessories out. Well, almost all the accessories out. The static cape and the base are that big, we need to do them in different shots. So we'll have a look at the other stuff first. Mundane stuff out of the way, set of instructions, you're probably going to need those because it needs wiring up for the light up features, and there's some smaller pieces. So yeah, good to see set of instructions. Hands, you have got 8 hands in total of 4 pairs. You've got a mixture of the mechanical hands and the gloved hands. We'll take a couple at random here. The gloved hands are all one piece of sculpted plastic, as they have been with most of Hot Toys Darth Vader figures, and they're very, very nicely done. They've got those ribs down the back to make it look like leather. The paint applications and the sculpt are really nice if the camera's catching this in this light. Yeah, and overall, yeah, the usual high standard of gloved hands. These mechanical hands, I've got to say, really, really nicely done. Very, very well done indeed. Nice weathering on the back there. The paint applications are really nice. You've got the sort of gold bronze effect tips there. Different shading on the inside. It's brown on the inside there, which looks really good, which sort of accentuates that gold as well. Only disappointment really here for me is that these aren't articulated. It would have been nice to see them articulated. They are very delicate, so I can see why they may not have lent themselves to articulation, but it would have been nice to see maybe a sort of an articulated joint in there, but it is what it is. And there's 3 of those, well 4, one on the figure. We'll take a look at that when we bring it out, and they're all of the same level of paint and sculpt, and the applications on there are really, really good. I'm particularly liking this weathering on here, very subtle brown weathering. So there's a hand for holding there, a gripping hand, for the saber no doubt, a fisted hand, which is good to see. One thing that did strike me straight away, particularly with these gloved hands, you've got 4 of these gloved hands, and you've got this sort of two gesturing ones, and a saber holding one. It would have been nice to have seen a fisted hand as well, but you know, it is what it is. You can't have everything. I'm not quite sure why Hot Toys didn't include that, but I suppose that's the way it goes. So yeah, that's the hands. We'll put those to one side. Let's have a quick look at this cape. Comes with 2 capes. Obviously, there's the static plastic one and this one. They've got the drape cape, the material one. And I've got to say, nicely done it is too. It's a nice heavy material. It's doubled up here. So yeah, you've got 2 layers going on. It's wired down the side here, so it's good for posing. You can get some decent posing out of it. Unfortunately, not wired across the bottom, which is odd. I would have expected to see that as well. So yeah, a strange omission there. But if I hold this up, you can see the weathering, and the weathering is only on this one side here, on the left-hand side, to sort of to match up with the battle damage on the figure itself being on the left-hand side. You can see that doubling up there, which is great actually, because I think that's going to give it make it a little bit more secure, because when you weather like this, it can be prone to ripping if you're not too careful with it. But the weathering's really nice, the holes are very good on there, and it's dirtied up. When the light's catching this, you've got browns and sort of greys and whites going on in there. And then you've got what I believe at the top here is actually a nylon collar. Now we're going to talk more about nylon when we bring the figure out, but yeah, good to see that that's nylon at the top there and not pleather. Because if that's moving around or you're taking it on and off the figure, if that's pleather, it's just going to fall apart. You've got this sort of plastic chain effect going on in the center there to attach it to the figure around the neck, and yeah, overall a nice drape cape there from Hot Toys. So let's put that to one side. You get the usual lightsaber swooshy effect. I'm not a big fan of this, never have been. I just think it looks a bit strange. Yeah, if you're doing dynamic fighting poses, then yeah, I suppose it does make sense. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. But they've included it anyway, and it's that sort of arc shape, and it's that gradiated clear sort of perspex going on there, and the lightsaber as well is light up, so we will see this in action. So swooshy effect, non-swooshy effect, and pretty much the same materials as we've come to expect in Hot Toys lightsabers. I know collectors tend to err towards third-party lightsabers because of the brightness and the lack of accuracy and the colour and so on. I've only got one of the Darth Vader figure. That's the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, which we'll be wheeling out for a comparison a bit later on. I've never invested in a custom lightsaber, but this might just be the time to do that, because yeah, I don't like how it thins out at the end. The LEDs are notoriously weak and the colour is notoriously off, but we'll see it lit up later in the review. So that's the swooshy effect. So if we're talking lightsabers, let's take a look at the non-light up lightsaber, and yeah, Hot Toys are past masters at lightsabers, so we wouldn't expect anything other than complete accuracy here, and I think that's pretty much what they've given us. Nice paint applications, the silvers, the blacks, the hook on the end, the sort of brass coloured, copper coloured sections are picked out, and it's up to the usual standard, and it's got that hook to attach it to the belt if you want to. The light up feature, lightsaber, pretty much identical, only this time you've got obviously the wire to attach it to. This little junction box here, which attaches to the figure itself, USB-C, great to see, no button cell batteries. So glad that's the thing of the past, or is becoming more of a thing of the past with Hot Toys. Regulars to the channel will know my pet peeves are poor 1/6 scale stitching and button cell batteries, and you also get this little doohickey to attach the power unit to the figure as well. So yeah, that's the lightsaber. You get the doohickey for the movable eye system. The head sculpts, two of the head sculpts have the purse system, or one-eyed purse system in that particular one, but yeah, you get the usual tool for that. If you've got sausage fingers like me, you know, getting your fingers into those head sculpts can be a bit problematic. Swap out wrist peg, one of, that's a bit stingy. Come on, Hot Toys, maybe 2 or 3 would have been nice, but one it is with this figure. You get this little piece of plastic, which we will look at later. This is for attaching the static cape to the base to secure it, because it can be a little bit unstable apparently, but that will come into its own later on. One replacement button. This is super stingy. It really is. I mean, come on, Hot Toys. One replacement button and one replacement wrist peg. That's not cutting it for me, but moving swiftly on. You get these 2 pieces. Now these are for swapping out the battle damaged head sculpt. The clean head sculpt without any helmet at all is on the figure, and if you wanted to put a little bit of battle damage on there, this will do it, and I think that might be a look that I will be sporting in the display, but we have yet to see. And this is our first glimpse at the detailing here. This little piece, not so much going on there, although there is some battle damage around the edge. This piece is really starting to give us our first glimpse of what the paint applications and sculpt are like on this battle damaged helmet, and it's looking very good. There are dinks and scratches around the sides. There's gradiated paint applications, and the great thing here, if the light is catching this without me knocking the camera over, there's a purple edging to this where it looks like it's been hit by a lightsaber, which is fantastic. And there are dinks in there, there are scratches, paint applications are really nice, and you're getting your first look at a sort of brown hue to that lens there, which is what we want to see. So overall, yeah, nicely done that. So 2 swap out head sculpts. There is a third unhelmeted head sculpt on the figure itself. We'll take a look at that. Let's have a look at the standard Darth Vader, the unbattle damage. Well, I say unbattle damage because this one does actually have some battle damage on it, and this is apparently more. And I'm repeating another reviewer who shall remain nameless's quote on this one. Apparently, this is more in keeping with the Rogue One Darth Vader. I am not that big on the knowledge regarding the individual Darth Vaders. As I say, my knowledge sort of stopped somewhere around Empire, but this figure inspired me to revisit Darth. And yeah, weathering is really nice on here. You've got spatters across those lenses. You've got that sort of tonal shift going on in the paint applications around these cheek areas to accentuate the angles. You've got weathering around the bottom there, weathering along the left hand side. All the weathering on this figure errs towards the left hand side, and you've got scratches and dirtying up there. And the weathering, I've got to say, is really nicely done on this edge here. Not too much, very subtle, but it's there. So yeah, ball joint at the bottom there for attaching it to the figure. That's the standard helmet. Then we've got this one, which is sort of partially revealed, and I've got to say I do like this one. More damage on the helmet area. It's more profound. There's more scratches. They're deeper, as is that sort of brown weathering effect. The edges are rougher with cracks in there, and there's a section missing, and the actual battle damage extends around to the other side on this one as well. And here we get to see for the first time the actual the head sculpt underneath there. And it's looking phenomenal, I've got to say. The damage around these edges here and the paint applications, if the light's catching that, are absolutely excellent. As is that head sculpt underneath, that Anakin head sculpt, that Hayden Christensen head sculpt. Loving the skin tones and textures, loving the scratches and the tones which are hinted at. And if I can do this on camera, this actually just clips off. There are some pegs underneath there where it attaches to the head, and you can actually see that battle damage for the first time. And the paint applications and skin tones in there are very good indeed. Very good indeed. And that battle damage is actually continued underneath the helmet there if you're wanting to use this one minus helmet. I can't see why you would, because you've obviously got this ugly section at the top there, but it can be done without the top piece of the helmet. And you can see the purse system in the back there as well, for moving that eye, and as I say, Mr. Gofinger has sausage fingers, so yeah, it's a little bit stiff, that one, so I might have to work that off camera. Yeah, oh, there we go. And it seems to be working just fine. A little bit stiff straight out of the box. Great to see. Yeah, with the eye off to one side there, it looks super menacing. So yeah, that's the two swap out head sculpt. As I say, third one on the figure, so let's take a look at that base and cape. Okay, so base first, and I've got to say the display stand for this particular piece is next level. What Hot Toys are doing with their DX line and their diorama bases, I've got to take my hat off to them. This is putting me in mind of stuff like the Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny diorama that they gave us. Fantastic, great to see. All one piece of plastic, this thing. Well, several pieces of plastic joined together. And I've got to say, super impressed straight out of the box. It looks fantastic. But we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. On the bottom there, you've got nothing much but Lucasfilm Limited. It would have been nice to see some feet on this thing, some felt padded feet, to give it some stability, but you know, 'tis what it is. The base itself has got these lovely sort of metallic paint applications with weathering on them. Now this isn't dust, this is actually weathering that Hot Toys have put on there, and it looks fantastic. Underneath there you've got these wired sections running up to the top of the base itself. It's USB-C connected, as is the figure itself, and as you can see there, I've got the lights on, although we're under some super bright lights here, so you won't be able to pick that out probably that well. However, we will dim the lights later, and you'll see them in the showcase. So yeah, paint applications and weathering on this section at the bottom here, really nicely done, and it's on a ball joint of all things, so you can, and I'll see if I can do this, it's the first time it's moved. Yeah, this thing will tilt and rock and go from side to side, so if you're wanting to really get involved in some dynamic poses, you've got those options there. It'll be interesting to see how that works with the actual static cape. Hopefully it won't make it unstable, but the top section, fantastic paint applications on here, some great weathering, some metallic look paint applications, and each individual section around the side here is weathered and looks suitably impressive. You're going to need some height in your display if you're wanting to use this. This isn't going to fit into your average detolf or anything like that. So yeah, maybe a custom cabinet or a bigger cabinet, or even just out in the fresh air. On the top, you've got this sort of circular section. Once again, those metallic paint applications have continued this sort of circular effect here. There's weathering on one side. It's heavily weathered on this side, not so much on this side, which I like. I think that sort of asymmetrical look looks great. And you've got a circle of LEDs underneath there producing this red light as well. So yeah, comes with the standard issue crotch grabber, which fits in the center there. And as I mentioned before, you get the doohickey. Now that doohickey, I believe, actually fits underneath there, but we'll take a look at how that works when we've had a look at the cape. So that's the stand, the diorama base, and I've got to say I am really liking this. This was part of the reason that sold me on this Darth Vader upgrade. So let's take a look at the cape. So finally, for the accessories, we have this huge static plastic sculpted cape. And once again, this is another one of the additions to this Darth Vader figure that sold me on the idea of picking it up. And yeah, it's just a huge piece of sculpted plastic. If I can fit all this thing into camera, and I think it's really nicely done. It's got a bit of weight to it, this thing. That's down to its size. Although I would say exercise some caution. There are some sort of prongy bits, if there's such an expression, which might be susceptible to bending or breaking. You wouldn't want any bits of this snapping off, so there are some delicate bits on here, so be careful if you're picking this figure up. But overall, I think this thing looks phenomenal. If I can fit this all in shot. Yeah, it's the sculpting excellent, although there are some visible seams on the back here. The paint applications are very good. Now you've got subtle hints of red going on in here on the left hand side of this cape. Now that's because the lightsaber is meant to be held in the right hand, so it'll be coming off down at this angle. It's not the red light in the background there that's picking this up. That is actual paint applications. But yeah, nice sculpting, nice paint applications, and of course there is the addition. If I can get this into shot here, I can't really get this all in shot because it's so huge, but you've got that Darth Vader half-mast design on one end of the cape here, and it just looks great. It really does. If I can get this all in shot, you've got the sort of V of the grill at the front there, the eye there, and yeah, overall I think it's a phenomenal touch there. And as I say, one of the things that sold me on this Vader upgrade. So yeah, that's your plastic sculpted cape. So without further ado, let's bring out Vader himself. Let's get him on that stand, get him onto the turntable, and have a close-up look at him. So, straight out of the box, straight onto the stand, but not onto the turntable, and there's a reason for that. The height that the turntable would give this figure means I wouldn't get it all in shot, so no turntable today. But first impressions, I've got to say, are very good indeed. The proportions look excellent. The detailing looks phenomenal, but we'll do as we always do. Let's have a close-up look at him. Actually worth mentioning as well, before we take him off this stand, although the crotch grabber does have those little plastic balls on the end there, they do have a tendency, if you have it all the way up, to catch underneath this battle damage section of the suit. So be wary of that if you're picking this figure up. But let's have a close-up look at him. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up as we always do. We'll start with this mechanical leg. And I've got to say, excellent sculpt, excellent paint applications. The sculpting of the plastic here to look like metal, very good. You've got browns and flecks of blue in there if the light's catching this. What looks almost like rust and burns, very nice indeed. You've got the pistons at the back there, which have got this copper paint application. The feet themselves, I think they could have done with a split toe design, would have been useful, because there's very little movement in this foot. There's a little bit of forward and backward. There's no side to side, obviously, don't force it, that will end in tears. Yeah, so maybe a split toe design there would have been good, but overall, yeah, paint applications and detailing are phenomenal here. The real wires that run up the legs here, past the joint into the bottom of the thigh section. Let's check articulation. Now, it's not a ratchet joint this, but it's a super silky joint. I am not going to push it any further than that, but I think it will probably go to about 45 degrees. I just don't want to run the risk of damaging these wires or pulling them out, but I think you'll get about 45 degrees out of it there, and those wires run up underneath the leg there into the thigh. Nice sort of gold stroke copper paint application where the mechanical leg meets the thigh. The right leg rather. Now, this is where I encounter one of my issues with this figure. Now, I think Hot Toys have gone all in with this. It's a DX piece, and that's reflected with the price. I think they've done great things with this nylon suit, which we'll talk about shortly. However, there's still pleather on this particular figure, and it's this boot and it's the belt. Now, why Hot Toys chose to use pleather is beyond me. The main reason for that is this shin guard section is a hard, high gloss plastic, and it looks phenomenal, very, very well done. However, and as you can probably see already, straight out of the box, we're already starting to get indentations at the sides there. This boot is not going to last. Now, to me, this boot would have been better as either one piece of sculpted plastic, maybe with a split cut boot design, or even real leather. But yeah, to me, that is a ball dropped by Hot Toys when you make these kind of improvements in the production of a figure, and then still include pleather in places where it's just going to get battered, and we all know it just falls apart after time as well. So yeah, not entirely impressed with that. But moving up, let's talk about the articulation in this leg. It's similar to the other one, but I wouldn't want to push it too far, simply because that nylon is quite tight, and I wouldn't want to stretch the stitching in that nylon there. I've got to say, very nice and soft. Stitch work is excellent here, and as regulars to the channel will know, the two main bugbears in the 6 scale world for Mr. Go Figure are inaccurate 6 scale stitch work and button cell batteries, so hopefully neither of those will crop up here. But the nylon itself is a great idea. It gives it that leather feel. I think this is the first time we've seen a nylon suit on a Darth Vader figure, and it lends itself to dynamic posing, and which you can actually leave in the display without worrying about it just turning into a pile of dust. But yeah, the battle damage section of that nylon suit on the leg is phenomenally well done as well. The detailing on there, this brown paint applications and dirtying up on the sections there. The only real gripe I've got here is the way this thing falls. It doesn't, on my version here, it doesn't seem to be falling quite right. As you can see, I'm trying to pull it down with my finger a little bit. It doesn't quite match the right hand side there. It looks like it's riding up a little bit, and I don't know whether that's because it's caught underneath this crotch section and this cod piece. We'll check the leg spread while we're here. There is a decent leg spread here. It may very well just be pulling in that crotch area. I might have to futz a little bit, but it just looks a tad like it's pulling to me, and it needs to come down a little bit. But yeah, we'll give that some TLC after this review. Moving up now, as far as the abdomen section goes, I'm not going to try and twist this too much, but there is a decent twist there. There's going to be no ab crunch, but there is a twist in the waist as well. I'm not going to push it too hard. Up to the belt. The belt itself, really well done. That buckle is weathered, as you can see. You've got the two boxes either side, which are USB-C powered and light up. Chest box itself doesn't light up, as it has done in previous Darth Vader figures. Reason for that is battle damage. You've got saber strikes on there by the looks of it, and there's brown and black paint applications to dirty up as well. Looking very good. The arms, once again, the articulation in the arms. Now you've got butterfly joints at the shoulders there, and you've obviously got the usual bend at the elbow. Once again, a little bit restricted by that nylon suit. This is the other gloved hand that we didn't look at in the accessories. So yeah, maybe could be a little bit better articulated there, but as I say, that's not the articulation or the joint, that's down to the suit. The mechanical arm, the left arm, really nicely done here, as with the leg. Great sculpting, great paint applications. I'm loving the weathering on the hand here, and on this forearm section. You've got the wires running up into that flesh of the bicep there, and the detailing on the inside of that arm, if the camera's catching this, really nicely done as well. Once again, articulated. You've got a smooth joint at the elbow there, but I would say be very, very, very careful when you are moving this arm and how you grip it, because these two sections on either side of the forearm are quite delicate, so don't force that. And then once again, I think overextending it, you may run the risk of pulling these wires out of the bicep section as well. And once again, they run into that super hideous looking flesh there, which is really nicely painted with the pinks and the whites and picked out really well. Up to the chest area now. This sort of, and I'm going to call it an undercloak, I've always called it an undercloak, I think is really nicely done. It's wired, which is great to see. It would have been, to me, I would have liked to have seen this thing wired all the way. You've got wires down either side, well down this one side, not the battle damage side, but I'd like to have seen a wiring around the bottom as well. But that being said, you can still get some dynamic poses out of it. It's a solid wire. The weathering on here is really good. The material is doubled up. You can see there are browns down there. The 6 scale stitch work is good. Around the back, you've got the 2 USB-C doohickey things for the light up feature, and you've got the battle damage as well around this right hand side. There are holes and browns and burns, and it just looks very, very impressive indeed. The neck and chest section now. I'm suitably impressed with this as well. Obviously, you've got these moving shoulder pad sections, and you've got a decent amount of articulation at the shoulders as well there. What really does it for me is this battle damage. Once again, you've got these sort of hints of purple going on here, which suggest burns from a lightsaber. This huge gash down the side here, the rough edges, the dinks, then you've got the browns mixed in to give it that weathered effect. All look absolutely excellent, I have to say, and some of that weathering is even extended around the back of this shoulder area as well. And while we're here, let's take a look at the back of the detailing on the back of the lower portion of the helmet. Very, very nicely done. It's the level of detailing here which I find super impressive, with that high gloss band and then that detailing on the inside. And then you've got the lower part of the helmet as well. Which is also weathered to match the interchangeable parts. Now, the articulation in the neck, you've got some good right and left motion, but obviously the nature of these figures, you're not going to get anything backwards and forwards, simply because of the way the helmet works and the armor works. Let's talk about that, this third head sculpt. Now, I've got to say, excellent work here from Hot Toys. Unmistakably Hayden Christensen, unmistakably Darth Vader. Loving those skin tones and textures. There are hints, if the light's catching this, of almost blues and purples underneath the variety of different pinks. The scarring is really nice, the damaged ears, but what really sets it off for me are those eyes. I think they've captured those eyes beautifully, that orange, and there's even bloodshot sections. If I can get this close enough, you might just be able to pick out those the hints of bloodshot irises and corneas going on there. Just excellent, absolutely excellent head sculpt, that one. But I think what we need to do is see him in one of his other guises. Okay folks, so we have wired him up for USB power. We have added the half battle damaged faceplate there, which I think is a fantastic look. A couple of niggles have come out of this. The tolerances on that half section that slot into the bottom part of the helmet aren't brilliant. It has a tendency to fall out. If you're wanting to access the PERS system for this particular head sculpt, it's dead simple. It pops straight out of the lower part of the helmet, and you can get your finger in there and rearrange those eyes. I think the side-eye look here looks phenomenal on this piece. Another niggle that came out of actually wiring this guy up, apart from the fact that still these lightsabers are too dull and not quite the right shape. I mean, this isn't the best light to see it in, but yeah, they could be a bit brighter. Is the wiring on the back there. Unfortunately, the 2 wires that come out at the back were on the wrong side of the belt for me, which means it was a real ball ache trying to get them to connect to the packer on the back, and now it doesn't hook over the actual belt itself properly, and has to sort of float freely. Which can cause some misshaping of the back of the back of the cloak there, which is a pain. But unfortunately, it is what it is. I will have to futz with that after this review. But as you can see, the overall impact is quite stunning. Let's try another one of those head sculpts. Okay, so it's full head sculpt this time, and I've got to say, I don't think this is a look that I'm going to be sporting in the display. Not because the head sculpt's bad, I just think the other 2 are so good, and for me it doesn't quite balance out with that battle damage on the left hand side, which gives him a slightly sort of thinner look. It just aesthetically isn't quite as pleasing to my eye, but still it's one hell of an amazing look. So Let's do what we've all been waiting for. Let's bring out that plastic cape. Okay, folks. So after a gargantuan struggle, we had the plastic static cape on Darth Vader. And I've got to say, it is a next level ball ache getting this thing on. It really, really is. It comes with its own unique set of issues, shall we say. But we'll cover those in the final verdict. Well, let's not. Let's cover them now. We're talking about them now, so let's get it out of the way. Number one, it's quite heavy, so you're going to need that doohickey at the bottom to stabilise it. Number two, because of the way the wires are wrongly arranged around the back of my particular take on Darth Vader, as you can see, his belt pods aren't lit up properly, or at least one of them is lit up, but both of them aren't. Because when you put this plastic cape on, it detaches the wires, and you can't reattach them with the cape on, so you have to take the whole thing off. Reattach it, and 90% of the time you're going to knock out one or more of the wires when you reattach it. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue, but overall I've got to say this battle damaged head sculpt, it's probably not the one I'm going to be rocking. As I mentioned, I'm probably going to go with the completely exposed head with just a partial part of the mask on it, but as you can see, it looks stunning, absolutely stunning. And that static cape really is the icing on the cake there. It looks amazing. It gives it so much motion, so much depth, and I love that those echoes of Vader's helmet there in the end of the cape. So time for a final verdict. Verdict time, folks. Let's start with the good stuff. That base, absolutely phenomenal. I think it's brilliant. Let's call it what it is. I love the fact that it's USB-C light up. I love its design. I love its size, even though I'm going to be a complete loss finding somewhere to display this. Yeah, base, excellent. The attention to detail and proportions, absolutely on point. Really, really on point. The paint applications, the sculpt, I cannot fault. They look amazing. The accessories, they are great on the whole. I love the swap out head sculpts. This is the one I'm going to be rocking in my display, as I mentioned. I think this is phenomenal. Even the other one is great. So yeah, accessories on point, bar a few minor niggles that we're going to get to. I think as a centerpiece to any Star Wars collector's display, this is just going to draw everybody's attention. It's unique, it is incredible, and the presence is there in absolute spades, and I think it just is a stunning piece, but it's not without its niggles. Let's talk about the niggles. Number one, that lightsaber. Yeah, it needs to be better. The LED needs to be brighter, the shape needs to be correct, and yeah, it could do better on that score. Pleather, why is there any pleather on this figure? It shouldn't be there. That pleather on the boot, the pleather on the belt, a nightmare, an utter nightmare, and at this price point really is unforgivable. The wiring system at the back, now I don't know whether it's just my figure, whether anyone else is going to experience this or is experiencing this. Please let me know in the comment section below, but the wires were the wrong way round. So whenever you try and get this the static cape on, you're going to be knocking those connectors out, which is going to lose the light up feature in one or both of the pods on the belt. There's that. There's a little niggle, a personal one here as well, and we've come so far in Darth Vader figures over the years. Still, those gloved hands don't fit on properly, and you risk damaging the suit trying to force them on. It was the same issue with my Empire Vader. It's the same issue here, and too much pressure on that nylon, you can damage it. The fact that they've used nylon in this suit I think is brilliant. It's so innovative. It's a great idea. It gives action figures what they should be, action figures, so you can dynamically display them, so that's great as well. But those niggles are going to affect the score, unfortunately. And I so was expecting to give this a super high score, maybe even a 9 or a 10, but it's not going to be that way. It is let down by these little things. Attention to detail in some areas is great. The battle damage is phenomenal. The paint applications, all those things. But they've just dropped the ball in a few areas. The pleather, the connectors, the hands, and so the score's going to reflect that. So I'm going to give this, it's a really difficult one, this, because it is a phenomenal piece. It really is. And I think we're looking at a future grail here. It is unique. But unfortunately, I can only give this an 8 or an 8.5, because just those little niggles stop it from attaining that hallowed 9 or a 10. So there you have it, folks. It's an 8 on a bad day, an 8.5 on a good day. I hope this review has been useful for you. What is your take on this piece? Do you have it on pre-order? Have you got it already? Was it an easy pass for you? Let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Hot Ties? What are your thoughts on this piece? What are your thoughts on the game? What are your thoughts on anything at all? Drop a comment in the comment section below. Nothing is off menu. I would love to hear from you. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, in the not too distant future, we have a raft more new figures coming in from Hot Toys, from InArt, from Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, Premier Toys, Exo6, Iconic Studios, the list goes on. So, as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale stuff that we've got coming up. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is, from the potential future grail that is the battle damaged Darth Vader and myself, a massive thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and until next time on the channel, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.